everybody and welcome on today's video. Today, well, I have to dismantle this whole thing. This was my fusion birch on the rock project on this amazing sandstone, which I can remove now. Look at that. That was a nice rock. And I must say, since it's been in the soil, it even became nicer to look at. I'm definitely going to use that for something, but I don't know what yet. Well, these birches, they were great, but yeah, well, this is the only survivor, and I feel that this rock is a little bit too much for this poor little tree, which is not a bad tree. It already has some nice branching here. But I thought, well, yeah, maybe I can downsize this a little and get this out of the pot, put it on another rock and plant that in this nice little white glazed crackled pot. But therefore, well, I have to see how the roots are presenting themselves, what I can do. It will of course include some raffia-ing of the roots against this rock, and maybe I have to choose another rock. I have tons of these guys. I'm so lucky to live near this old sand grove where all these rocks are all over the place and they have such interesting structures and textures. So yeah, little sad of course that this was the only survivor, but okay, I'm going to get this out of the pot and then see how I can arrange these roots around a rock, or maybe two rocks or another rock, I don't know. It's going to be a surprise for me, as it is probably a surprise for you. So let's start. Oh, there's a fair amount of roots in here. Okay. Like so. Right. Well, of course, these are not all the roots of this tree, but there's a fair amount of dead root in here. I think that this tree has just, yeah, well, that's more like it. So I'll have to remove all the soil here. If you want to do a root over rock, you need to see the roots, or you will not be able to get them on the rock. So these are probably roots of the trees that didn't make it. So I'm going to get the soil out patiently. There's always been something with these rock plantations. It's always nice. It's an extra dimension. I really like rock plantings. If you have to buy them, they're fairly expensive because, well, it takes a lot of time to have a decent one. So I'm going to get rid of the remaining soil here and give this thing a wash. I'll clean up the table and we'll try some rocks, starting with the one that I had. Okay, so let's wash this. So here comes the difficult part. I have a rock here, small rock here, and I also have this big rock where it was planted on, but I don't think that I'm going to use that. What I noticed is that this tree has a big root base, and I'll probably have to clean out some of these well, less interesting and growing way too high roots. So that will make my task just a little easier to see what's going on. But of course, it's a birch, and you don't want to go too crazy on the roots with a birch. There are already some good fleshy roots. I'm not sure they're all alive. I think this portion, for example, is not doing that great. No, that's dead. But okay. Now I have the possibility to plant this tree straight, or I can make it cling to a rock. That's also a possibility. But that gives me that strange, almost 90-degree angle, which is not that interesting. So I think putting it straight on a rock is not bad, except that it does not look very natural. You see, maybe I should lower the camera a little to give a more realistic view. So something like that. I'm not too worried about the top part of this tree, but you see, this is not really, I don't know, maybe this is not a good rock for this tree, or maybe I should try another angle and do something like that. But then again, I have this strange 90-degree angle. I also have a different rock. This one is a it's not bad. It's a small rock. Will not give any depth, but then of course if you add another rock, it changes the whole perspective. But I like the rock a little bigger. So I still think that there's something to do here. Maybe this way, or maybe put the rock here in the crack. Okay, so let me figure this out. Straight on top is not bad, but then you need something to balance this. So maybe a second rock can make this whole thing a little more interesting, but I have to fit it in the pot. Okay, so I'll have a look at what is possible and I will be back. Well, it's starting to rain and I still am not completely sure about this, but I think that I kind of like the idea of having two rocks. So I'll probably plant this tree on this rock and then guide some of the big roots, like here, and then put the small rock here and guide the rests. Maybe over the other piece of rock, which I think could be great. So I think I'm going to do that. It's possible to guide these guys here and so on. So let's try that. So I'll have to secure the tree first and then take care of all these roots. Thing is, I think the only possibility to make this look nice is by spreading these roots as much as possible, and that's always, well, a difficult task. So, okay, let's hope, well, this stays. That's already good. So again, the old raffia trick. Open this thing up and then pass the thing through the loop. And this way it's possible to secure the tree already, and then every piece of pressure that you apply will be on the tree and the rock at the same time. So I don't know if this is the proper way to do that, but it works for me. So First thing to do is to get a good grip on all the roots here at the base. Now if I push it a little more to this side, it might even be more interesting. So that I can, and I don't care about the top part at the moment, because I will probably reduce this a whole lot. So this looks nice. It's completely on a slant now. But this, of course, is going to be a question of getting the rock in the position that you want it in the pot. So this is also possible, and it's by trial and error that you get somewhere. And I think that this is mostly error and not trial. So no, it's not good. Something else, okay. Kind of like the idea of a more flat rock, because it suits the roots and the trees very nicely, but it's too small. And then I found this one here, which is also nice, a nice texture, and this might just be the rock that I'm looking for. So it's also planted right on top, but I think that's the good one. And so now I'm going to open up all these roots, try to block them in the crevices, the nooks, everything. And by manipulating these roots, well, I'm breaking some, but these are the dead ones, so I don't care. So I think that this is going to be what I'm going for. Yeah, so I'll press this as tightly as I can, and now I must not lose the pressure, which is not easy. So I have a good root spread here. Now I'm going to try to take a part of this raffia, not all of it, because I'm going to have I won't have enough if I do that. So I'll untangle the roots as well as I can, and then press them against the rock. And of course you need a whole lot of hands to do this nicely, which I don't have. Like most people, I only have two. And so this is a little complicated, but it will work out. So I'm just going to do this and then turn back the camera on to show you the results. Rain got worse, so I made a run for it, but okay, it still looks okay outside, so I'm back. Yeah, now I have a little package here with my roots, and I must say I'm quite pleased with it. I managed to press them very close to the rock by using just natural raffia, which is, I think, the best thing. Because this raffia will disappear in time, something that you don't have with crafting tape or some things like that. They won't disappear, and yeah. So I think for these purposes this is good stuff. Now it looks okay, I think. I don't know if you can see the whole tree on camera. No, it's too close. So this is the whole tree. It's like they say, a literati style, a style that I do not enjoy at all. I don't know why. I always feel like it's, well, something you can do with a tree when there's no growth on the other parts. So, well, I'm not really interested in that. Maybe one day I'll understand what it means, and then I can do that. But I think that on this rock, this tree looks nice from many angles. So I will plant it in the pot now. And this is a 3 feet pot. I think I like well, it's going to be something like that or something like that. Anyway, I'll put it in the pot this way, tucking all the roots in. And I'm going to bury it fairly deep. I like the rock. Nice thing with these kind of compositions is that you always can add a little rock here or there, whatever. You can do whatever you want just to make the rock idea more interesting, but it's not really necessary now. I'll just be happy if all this grows well. And like I said, because I'm not wild about this literati style idea, I'll probably wait for some new growth on the trunk, and then I'll cut back quite hard just to shorten the tree. But yeah, it's again a nice little root over rock project started. So here we have it, a little silver birch. Well, let's add a rock just for fun. Okay, little silver birch on a rock, on a invisible rock, because the rock is in the pot completely. So probably next spring I will have to raise this up a little, maybe 1 or 2 centimeters, and slowly start to expose the rock, and then see if I can add a little extra rock or something to make it a little bit more interesting, to give it some contrast. So yeah, probably if I have some growth here, well, that's gonna be it. It's going to be snip, which is a little sad because I already had some nice branching here. But yeah, or maybe add a second small one and try to fuse it. Who knows? Well, we'll see. In the meantime, thank you for watching and see you next time.